My name is Alekhya and today we are going to discuss about the cyberspace and the law. Okay. So what is cyberspace? Cyberspace is nothing but the interaction between the network, the internet what we are using and the interaction with us. So it is like a environment. So environment what we are doing with the internet is nothing but the cyberspace. So what are the laws in that? So what are the sections we have to use to punish if there are any attacks, what are the punishable offences? In this topic today we are going to discuss. First, cyberspace. So cyberspace is it's like a intricate environment. Intricate environment means it's a real environment that involves interactions between people, softwares and services. So the things like people, software, services, so combined together makes an environment is nothing but a cyberspace. So cyberspace means like an environment. It's like an environment that involves interactions between people, softwares and services, the devices that are using network, everything that comes under the environment which is nothing but a cyberspace. So it's like it is maintained by the worldwide. So everybody in the world is maintaining this. So it is maintained by the worldwide distribution of information and communication technology, devices and networks. So here the devices and networks what we are using, they are mainly used to maintain the distribution of our information, data and communication between any two people, two organizations, anything like that. So it's like it's mainly used for communication and distribution of data. Okay, here's the cyberspace core feature. The main feature is an interactive and virtual environment for a broad range of participants. So there are broad range of so many people, so many participants are there in cyberspace. So the main core feature is the interactive and virtual environment. So real interaction between the participants and the internet is nothing but a cyberspace. So cyberspace allows mainly it used for sharing information, interaction between two areas or two people, and swapping ideas, playing games, engage in discussions or social forms, conduct business and create intricate media, among many other activities. So all these activities that are going on in cyberspace. So information. So what the information we have, how we have to interact with others, how we can communicate with others. So these processes are going on through internet. So we can swap ideas, we can play games, we can engage discussions through cyberspace, social forms, conduct businesses, we can do online businesses in that, and we can create an intricate media in internet itself, and we can do many activities using cyberspace. Okay, it's like see here, it's like exchanging information. We can exchange information from one place to another place. So we can exchange information from one place to another place or one place to many places. So cyberspace is used for sharing information from one place to another place using network. So cyberspace is interaction between the network and the participants. Participants are nothing but the people who are using network. So it's like an environment between two areas that will share information, or they gather information, or they can do online businesses, they can play games, they can create a media, or they can criticize, they can do some activities like this. Okay, next one. So what is the history of cyberspace? So history of cyberspace is the term cyberspace was initially introduced by William Gibson in his 1984 book. So in 1984 book named Necromancer, the William Gibson, he initially started the using the word cyberspace in this book itself. Necromancer. In this book, it is published in 1994 by William Gibson, and the word cyberspace is firstly introduced in this book itself. So Gibson criticized the term. So later years, he criticized the word, calling it evocative and essentially meaningless. So after that, he came to know that it is actually meaningless word. So he criticized with the sentence like evocative, and eventually meaningless. So nevertheless, the term is still widely used to describe any facility or feature that is linked to the internet. So here the cyberspace, it actually means facilitating the internet. So facilitating the internet with some technologies to share the information, gather the information, to secure the information, everything. So in this environment itself, the activities will be done. So here the people, so the term widely used to describe, so the term cyberspace, the term widely used to describe any facility, like it's a feature that is linked to the internet. So any feature that is linked to the internet, the cyberspace word is used. So people use the term describe all sorts of virtual interfaces and create digital realities. So they'll use, so here all the sorts of people use the term describe all sorts of virtual interfaces. To describe all sorts of virtual interfaces, they'll create digital realities. So using this cyberspace, they'll create digital realities to interact with people again and again. So this is the history of cyberspace. History of cyberspace is first, the William Gibson has introduced the word in 1984 in the book Necromancer. After later years, he criticized the word with evocative and essentially meaningless. And after that, the term widely used to describe, so any facility that is related to internet, linked with the internet, he used it, linked with the internet, any facility. So people have started using cyberspace word. So people use the term to describe all the sorts of virtual interfaces and create digital realities. Okay. Next one. Cybersecurity regulations. So what are the regulations that cybersecurity is using? So what are the acts that are, what are the law, what are the sections that are using for cybersecurity, what cyber criminals are, so cybersecurity regulations. So these are the first, these 5, section 43, section 66, section 66B, 66C, 66D. These are the 5 predominant laws to cover when it comes to cybersecurity. So when it comes to cybersecurity, mainly these 5 laws are used by IT Act. So here the IT Act is a salient one. So it's very important for guiding Indian legislation. So for Indian law, IT Act is very important for cyber crimes. Okay. For like in India, what are the crimes? What are the cases that related to cyber, like internet? So what are the crimes that are related to internet? It is mainly guided by IT Act. Okay, IT Act is guiding the Indian legislation to govern cyber crimes rigorously. So according to section 43, let us see what is section 43. So it is applicable to the people who damage computer system without the permission of the owner. So it's like here the owner was fully claimed compensation for the entire damage of such cases. So here any person, if any other person who is who damaged the system of the owner, any owner, so without the permission of the owner, if a person A uses the system of person B, computer of person B, and he damaged the system. Then there is a chance. No, there is a chance of claiming. There is a chance of claim case to A, like that. So it is applicable to people who damage the computer without the permission of the main owner. So without owner's permission, if we damage any system that is related to him, any system that is related to the owner, so the owner can claim compensation for the entire damage. So he can claim compensation for the entire damage in such cases. So it is according to section 43, and according to section 66, it is like applicable in case a person is found to dishonestly and fraudulently committed any act referred to in section 43. So here in section 43, what we have done is in section 43, any person who damaged the computer system without the permission of the owner, then the owner is capable of claiming compensation for the entire damage. So when it comes to section 66, so any act like that fraudulently committed, it is without the permission and without the knowledge of the person also, there might be damage happens. But with the knowledge of the person, if he intendedly wanted to do damage to the system, then it is come to section 66. So it is applicable in case a person is found to dishonestly or fraudulently committed any act referred to in section 43. Okay, so the imprisonment in this is so it might be 3 years or fine up to 5 years, up to IPC, Indian Penal Code 1980. So according to Indian Penal Code 1980, so he will get 5 lakh compensation or 3 lakh imprisonment according to section 66. And next, so according to section 66B, so the incorporates the punishment for fraudulently receiving stolen communication devices or computers, which confirms a profitable 3 years imprisonment. So fraudulently receiving, so any person is sending some fraudulent messages to the owner of the system, there might be chances of damaging the data or accessing the data or spying on the data, so which is lost to the organization. Then there might be chances of the 3 years imprisonment for the attacker. Here the term can also be topped. So there might be 1 lakh fine, or depending on the severity. With the combination of 3 lakh imprisonment, there might be chances of fining 1 lakh rupees. And it is according to the Information Act 2000. It is according to the Information Act 2000. So according to 66B, any fraudulent message receiving stolen communication devices or computers, then it might be 3 years imprisonment, and there might be topped 1 lakh fine also. Okay, and according to section 66, so this section scrutinizes the identity thefts related to imposter digital signatures, hacking passwords, or distinctive identification features. So in this section, might identity thefts related to imposter digital signatures, hacking passwords. So any thefts to the digital signatures or hacking passwords or any other like that. So in any of the acts like that have done, then the imprisonment will be 3 years and there might be backed with 1 lakh fine also, according to 66B. And according to 66D, so the section was inserted on demand, focusing on punishing cheaters doing impersonation using computer resources. So any person who is focusing on any person who is using computer resources, so then there might be chances of punishing cheaters doing impersonation. So what is Indian Act? Indian Act was introduced in 2000, when it is started in 2000. So the purpose of Indian Act is for providing legal recognition for transactions carried out means of electric data. So electric data is nothing but the data which we are sending through electronically. So it might be from one system to another system to mobile to computer, or computer to any tab. So anything, that information carried out from one device to another device electrically. So then it should be given some legal recognition. So the data should be legally sent from one place to another place with some recognition. So it is also known as electronic comments. Okay. So the main purpose of Indian Act is, it's like providing legal recognition. So legally we can send information from one place to another place, like that. It's like a legal recognition for transactions carried out by means of electronic data. Electronic data is nothing but the data which we are using through electrically, like the systems or the devices, the data in the devices. Okay. So these are the some Indian Acts. Let us see what are these. So first one, Section 65, tampering with computer documents. So tampering means the documents what are in the computer. So if any person, if they stole the documents, or if we modify the documents, if we delete the documents, or if we use the documents for another purpose, so like that, tampering the computer documents, then the person will be imprisoned. So the person will be imprisoned for 3 years. So here the person will be imprisoned for 3 years and 5 lakh rupees. Fine will be 5 lakh rupees. So it might be 3 years or it might be 5 lakh rupees fine, or otherwise in some cases there might be both. And next one, according to 66, computer related offences. Computer related offences is nothing but we have already seen. So it is computer related offences. So in this case the person is dishonestly or fraudulently committed act. So when dishonestly or committed act, dishonestly or committed computer related attacks with knowingly. So according to this, the imprisonment will be 3 years and the fine will be 5 lakh rupees. In this also it might be imprisonment 3 years, or it might be 5 lakh fine, or it might be both according to the situation. And according to section 67, punishment for publishing or transmitting absence material in electronic form. So absence material, that is the thing which should not be sent, the material which should not be sent openly. If we send like that, the punishment will be 2 years and 3 lakh rupees fine. So 2 years there might be imprisonment and 3 lakhs there might be fine. If we done this again and again, like subsequent consequences, if we done this, if we already get the punishment, if the case has been filed, and again he have done that act, then there might be 10 lakh rupees fine and 5 years imprisonment. So with that 5 years imprisonment, he has to pay 10 lakh rupees also. Okay. And penalty section, according to section 71, penalty for misrepresentation. So misrepresentation, if we represent something which has to be like penalty for misrepresentation means he has to pay some penalty for representing something which is not to be represent in some places, like something which should not be seen by everyone. Okay. Misrepresentation, for this there might be 1 lakh fine and 2 years imprisonment. There might be chances of getting both the things, like 1 lakh rupees fine and 2 years imprisonment for some cases. Okay, for section 72 also, it's for penalty for breach of confidentiality and privacy. So confidentiality, so any passwords or any secrets that are related to the organization, the confidential matters, the privacy matters, that should be, if anything that has been leaked to any other persons or any organization, or there might be if any employee in the organization has shared the information through social media, so like that, anything that has been shared, that should be penalty of 1 lakh rupees. It is also for 1 lakh rupees and 2 years imprisonment for this. So here the case can be filed by the owner of the organization in this. And according to section 73, penalty for publishing digital signature certificate falls in certain particulars. So any digital signatures, the certificates that having digital signatures of higher authorities, so big bodies signatures has been published, then here also there might be 1 lakh rupees fine and 2 years imprisonment. Okay. And according to section 74, publication of fraudulent purpose. So anything shared or any activity that done through internet for fraudulent purpose, like some sharing information, or they want to stole the data for, like that, if they done any publications for fraudulent purpose, so there might be 1 lakh rupees fine and 2 years imprisonment for this also. Okay. So according to Indian Act 2000, these are the some sections to follow in our India. Okay. So now, what are the roles of international law? So what are the roles of international law? In various countries, areas of the computing and communication industries are regulated by government bodies. So any countries, in so many countries, the government bodies are always regulated the computing and communication industries. So there are some specific rules. So every countries, they are having some specific rules on using the computers and computer networks. So everything that has been so there are some rules on unauthorized access, data privacy and spamming. Okay. So for example, if there is any like if any person is missing, there is a case of person missing. So first they'll try to, by using international laws, they'll try to gather the information of that person, like passwords of their phone, passwords of their mail ID, so everything that can be accessed so by some authorities. So unauthorized access is nothing but unauthorized access is nothing but the access of the, it is not the access of the original owner, it is the access of the another person. Okay, and the data privacy, spamming, these are all comes under unauthorized access. And next one, these are, there are also limits. So if they are using any if they are using the internet, if they are using any network, there should be some limit to it, and there should be some encryption for that equipment, so which have maybe defeat copy of protection. So to defeat the copy of protection, there should be limits to and use, there should be limits, and there should be limit to the use of internet, and there should be the encryption for the equipments and of equipments which of may be used to defeat copy protection schemes. Okay, next one, there are laws governing trade on the internet, taxation and consumer protection and advertisement. For everything there is some tax for government. Okay, it's for internet or taxation, consumer protection or advertising, everything there is some tax for that. Okay, it is for according to only some countries. And next one, there are laws of citizens censorship versus freedom of expression. So there are laws for censorship and freedom of expression. So for censorship, there should be in some situations, only some if we want to if anything want to publish through internet publicly, so there should be some censorship. So after that only the censorship, after the censorship only that can be published. And freedom of expression, so everything censorship and freedom of expression, everything has laws. Okay, and rules on public access to government information. So there are some rules. So there are some rules on public access to government information and individual access to information held on them by private bodies. So everything has rules and regulations. So if you want to use anything on the internet, through internet, there are some rules. So there are some policies that has to be followed. Okay, after that, various organizations and governments have already made joint effort in establishing global standards of legislation. So many organizations and governments, so they want to combine, they want to join with global standards and for legislation and law enforcement, both on a regional and on an international scale. So every small bodies, if there is they want to combine with districts with states with country with international. So step by step they want to combine everything with legally, so that they want to achieve greater security, greater limits for using the internet. So roles of international law, it is for using the internet according to these roles. And next, the Indian cyberspace. So here the Indian cyberspace was born in 1975 with the establishment of National Informatics Center, NIC, National Informatics Center, with the aim to provide government with IT solutions. So the main agenda of this Indian cyberspace is to provide government with IT solutions. They want to make the government with some IT solutions to secure the data. Okay, here the three networks were set up between 1986 and 1988 to connect various agencies of government. Okay, three networks. What are the three networks? INDONET, NICNET and EARNet. INDONET means Integrated Information Management. Integrated Information Management and Distributed Data Processing. Okay. So the network INDO net, it is the full form for the full form of INDO NET is Integrated Information Management and Distributed Data Processing. So it mainly connected with the IB mainframe for installations that made India's computer infrastructure. Okay. So it is one of the main network for setting Indian cyberspace. It is for sharing the information from one place to another place legally with some limits, with some rules and regulations. And next one, NIC-NET. NIC-NET means National Informatics Center Network. So here the national wide, what are the small aperture terminal network for public sector organizations as well as to connect the central government with the state governments and district administratives. So they want to combine everything. To make protected using this NIC network. So National Informatics Center. So National Informatics Center Network. It's a national-wide, very small aperture terminal for public sector. So for public who are using the internet, organizations who are using the internet, so they want to connect with everything like central government, state government and district administrative step by step. Okay, and the third network is Education and Research Network. So it serves the academics and research communities. So it mainly for education purpose. IARE network is for only education purpose. So these are the three networks that are set up between 1986 and 1988 to connect various agencies of governments. So they want to connect these. So they want to connect these networks to connect with the government. They want to connect with the government. Okay. Here the Indian cyberspace was born in 1975 with the establishment of National Informatics Center with the aim to provide government with IT solutions. So they want to provide the government with IT solutions. Next one, National Cyber Security Policy. National Cyber Security Policy. So what are the things in that? It mainly protecting the public and private infrastructures, the facilities that are using by the public and private from they want to protect it from cyber attacks by using some IT solutions. So National Cyber Security Policy is a policy. It's like a written document, digital document that is written. Okay, National Cyber Security Policy is a policy framework by Department of Electronica and Information Technology. So the Department of Electronica and Information Technology, they started National Cyber Security Policy. So the main aim is to protect the public and private infrastructure. The infrastructure from cyber attacks. From cyber attacks, they want to protect the infrastructure like network, the devices, the data, everything, the assets of the organizations, everything that has to be protected by using, that can be protected by using National Cyber Security Policy. Okay. Next one, the policy also intends to safeguard information such as personal information, financial information and digital banking and sovereign data. So every important data that can be safeguarded by using National Cyber Security Policy. So the main aim is to protect the data from cyber attacks. The data like financial, banking, mainly related to the money, mainly related to financial accounts. Okay, that can be protected by using National Cyber Security Policy. So to protect information and information infrastructure in cyberspace, they build capabilities to prevent and respond to cyber threat. So they are building some capabilities that will prevent cyber attacks, cyber threats, and to reduce threats, reduce vulnerabilities, the weaknesses in the system, and minimize damage from incidents through a combination of institutional structures, people, processes, technologies, and corporation. So these are all institutional structures, people, processes, technologies, and corporation. So everything that combined together, they form a cyber incidents. The cyber incidents that can be reduced by using National Cyber Security Policy. Okay, National Cyber Security Policy. It is a written document. It is a written document for the people who are using the internet, who want to protect the internet. Okay, it will protect the internet. It will protect the assets of the organization from cyber attacks. Okay. Next one, what are the objectives? So, what are the objectives of the National Cyber Security Policy? So, here the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology define the below objectives as follows. The Ministry of Communication and Information Technology. Every time the Communication and Information Technology Ministry will give the objectives as follows. Here, to create a secure cyber ecosystem in the country. So the ecosystem, so they want to create, here the main agenda is they want to create a cyber ecosystem. The ecosystem that can be secured, generate adequate trust. So they want to make adequate trust. They want to generate trust from people and confidence in IT system and transactions in cyberspace, and thereby enhance adoption of IT in all sectors of the economy. So to create a secure cyber ecosystem in the country. So they want to create some environment that can be secured, that can be trusted, that can give confidence in IT systems. So when they want to transform any information, there should be trust, there should be confidence that the data is going without any modifications or without any theft. Like that, they want to give some confidence and trust to the people through national cyber security policies. So in all IT sectors of economy, they want to adopt this enhancement. Okay, regarding this. And next one, to create assurance. So to create assurance framework for the design of security policies and promotion and enabling actions for compliance to global security standards and best practices by way of conformity assessment. To create an assurance. So they want to create some assurance for the design of security policies and promotion enabling actions. So they want to make some policies and promotions through National Cyber Security Policy. So up to the global standards, and they want to give the best practices by the way of conformity assessment. So assessment is nothing but the products, processes, technology, people are combined together. Okay, and they want to strengthen the regularity framework for ensuring a security cyberspace ecosystem. So the main agenda is to giving secure cyberspace ecosystem. Okay, next one, here the main is to enhance and create national and sectorial level 24/7 mechanism. So 24/7 the mechanism is going on for obtaining strategic information regarding threats to ICT infrastructure, creating scenarios for response, resolution and critics management through effective, predictive, preventive, protective, response and recovery actions. So these are all the efforts. These are all the efforts that has to be done. Recovery actions, effective, predictive, so preventive, protective. These are all actions from ICT infrastructure. ICT infrastructure is nothing but information computer technology. Information computer technology. So to enhance and create, so they want to enhance and create national and sectorial level. So they want to make the system secure up to for 74/7 mechanism to make and obtaining strategic information. So for obtaining strategic information, they want to create 74/7 mechanism to safeguard our data. Okay, regarding less threats to ICT. So any threats that related to ICT, information computer technology infrastructure, the infrastructure, and so they want to create secure to the data regarding less of the threats to ICT, and creating scenario for response, resolution, and crisis management through effective predictive, preventive response and recovery actions. So these are all comes under National Cyber Security Policy. Okay. So what are the topics we have discussed today? Introduction to cyberspace, cyber security regulations, roles of cyber security, roles of international law, the Indian cyberspace, National Cyber Security Policy and their objectives. Okay, Indian cyberspace, roles of international law and sections in that. Okay, and the sections in that. Cyberspace regulations and introduction to cyberspace. So it is an environment between the people, software and services. So it is for sharing the information from one place to another place safeguardly. Okay, history of cyberspace. First the word has started from a book called Necromancer in 1984, who was introduced by William Gibson. There are 5 predominant classes in cybersecurity regulations, like section 43, 66, section 66B, 66C, 66D. So what are the imprisonments, what are the fine in each section we have discussed today. And Indian Act, what is the Indian Act and what are the sections in Indian Act? According to Indian Act, what are the sections? Like section 65, section 66, section 67, section 71, 72, 73, 74, all these sections we have discussed. And what are the roles of international law? Roles of international law means, so according to the international law, how we have to protect our data. What are the roles of international law means? So what the international law is doing for us to make the system protective, secure. And what is Indian cyberspace, and what is the main agenda, and what are the three networks that are used in Indian cyberspace? In this, Indonet, NICnet and IARE and National Cyber Security Policy, and what are the objectives we have discussed today. Okay, thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.